All right, guys, it's amazing to have you here once again. Today, we are looking at the concept in Python, classes. And before go ahead, you should, if you follow us closely, you know that we did a video lastly, strings in Python. I'll leave the link of that video in the description so that you can check that out rightly. And if you have any question on that, you can drop that in the comment section. Please like, subscribe to the channel. Okay, today we are looking at classes in Python. So basically, what are classes? A class is a template or a blueprint that defines the properties and behavior of an object. Okay, basically, see, if we say a template, take for instance, you want to build a house. First, you need the architect to give you a blueprint, or like what the house is going to look like on paper. So see classes as that. They are blueprint for creating objects, and the object created from a class is more like an instance of that class. Please don't rack your head too much. We are going to have object and method in a separate video when I will explain that. So I mentioned properties. Property stands for attribute, and behavior stands for method. Okay, this concept I'm going to talk in a separate video. So basically, you have to define a class in Python, and in defining a class, you use the class keyword. Okay, so let's jump right into our code blocks so that we can start working on this. All right, before we create a class, I want you to understand the concept. I'll just give a very basic example so that you understand this before we move to talk about what we are to talk about the class. All right, if I have this name Paul, just have a set of data, create some variables here. I have this, of course, Paul is a male, and age, let's say Paul is 30, and I have another variable, teach Python, true. All right, so I could go ahead. I want you to understand basically this. I could go ahead to first determine the type of these variables created. So I could do type of name. All right, so it's going to print that name is a string. As you can see, this is a string. Of course, sex is also a string. So let's go ahead to do type of age. I guess you know what that is. Age is an integer, and if we do type of Python, is going to, let's just do that quickly before we move ahead. Type of teach Python is going to return a boolean. So please understand this concept so that you can fully grasp what we are going to talk about next. So let's jump right to create a class. So let's do this. I have basically I'll do class. So to do that, I'm going to do class, then the class name. Okay, so just like that. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll create a class of student. Okay, let's do that again. I'm going to have a class of students, and okay, then I'll have some object of this class, right? So first let me do one, and later we are going to do the rest. So I'll create an object of just one student in this class. Then I'll go ahead, but before then, let me show you something. If I create my class and without passing any info to this class, okay, after creating the class, if I do this shift enter, if I run it, it's going to print an error. So if I don't want to create any data in my class, which I name student, of course, I'll just do pass. So if I do shift enter, this is not going to bring an error. So pass is going to use to exit, telling the computer that I didn't pass any data into my class. So basically that is what you do. So after that, let's add data to this class. So this is a class of students. So let me create for one student, then basically I'm going to create for other students. So I have just a student in this class. Then I'll go ahead to create some variables. All right, s1 student one first student dot name. Then I'm going to give it the name Joe. Then I'll go ahead to have s1.id. Then I'm going to give that an ID, let's say 1. Then I'll go ahead to do s1.level. Then I'm going to give that a string. I'm going to give that a string year 1. Then I'll have another variable s1.department. Then I'm going to give that let's say Joe is in computer science department. Computer science. Then I'm going to have lastly one variable s1.sex. Of course, Joe is a male. So all right. So after this, after creating all of these variable in this class, okay, all of this, then I can go ahead to print out. All right, I can go ahead to print out these values, the values in these variables, the values there can be printed out. So I'll just use print x1 dot name. All right, so let's test that if that is going to work. Of course, it's going to print out Joe, which is the first name we have here. So let's just do for the rest print. Okay, I'll just copy this so that I'll copy this first line, copy, Control V, Control V, oh, Control V, Control V, once again Control V. So I'm going to change the value here s1 dot, the first one is name, the second one is s1 dot id, the next one is s1 dot level, s1 dot level. Then we have s1 dot department, and the next one is s1 dot sex. So all right, so if I run this now, shift enter, it's going to display all of this information. As you can see, they are nicely printed out. Joe, the ID is 1, the year is year 1, then the department is computer science, and the sex is male. Okay, so this is a class which we have created. We could create for another student as many as you want. So to do that, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this information and duplicate it to have for another student. No, up to here. Okay, just going to copy this and have it for another student. Control V to paste. Then I'm going to create the object for a second student. So I'll have that. Then I'll come down here. Okay, the name this time, let's say the name is no longer Joe, it's a female this time, so let's use Kate. All right, then the ID, Kate's ID is 2 and she's in second year ahead of Joe. And the department, let's say history. All right, and of course S, the sex is female. Okay, all right, so here instead of doing 1, we are going to do S2 this time because this is a second instance of this class. So that is S2. I'm just going to change all of this to S2, S2, S2. All right, so then after that, then I'm going to print out what we have here. Okay, I'll copy this as well, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to print that out. So s2.name, s2.id, s2.level, then you have s2.department and s2.sex. So if I do shift enter, okay, I'm coming, let me just resolve this. Okay, okay, yeah, the error is here. This is supposed to be s2. We defined the second object, so this is s2. All right, so so let's do shift enter. Let's see. All right, done. So it's going to print out the second information. You can see name Kate, this is the ID, this is the year, this is the department, and the sex. So that is that. So you could create for as many, but instead of, there's a pattern, you can do this instead of typing all of this out for each student. Paraventure you want to create for 100.